I'd like to introduce you to the idea of water as an intelligent designer. Here I exposed water to my friend's photo, removed and froze using a special method, and it designed her face. I showed the ice result to the water, and it designed a negative of her face. I briefly placed my thumb in the water and then froze it, and water designed a thumb with a chip in the nail. I chipped my nail in exactly the same place 3 hours later. Here I used a conceptual word of ego. It's a word I have no visual for, which removes any mental projection, and water designed a person with big shoulders, a small face, and a giant balloon head. I used the word milk as an influence, and water designed a breast. I wasn't thinking of human milk, so this was a surprise. You notice that the ice designs are not photocopies of the influence, but more of an interpretation. And to me, this is clear display of some kind of awareness. I honestly don't think we know what water really is yet.
And I saw this, a brother has put this in the chat. I was like, wow. Not shocking, but it's like, you feel it's like you feel the how can I say it? It's not far fetched. That's the best way I could say it. First, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Makakadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to all the brothers and the few sisters out there, unto the foreigners from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Shalom in the Hebrew, which means peace. And that just show that that water is intelligent. Show you that everything, all the elements are spiritual. All right, everything has a spirit to it. Everything bears the spirit of the Lord. That's why what Psalm says, "Thy spirit is in all things." I believe it's Wisdom of Solomon, but there's another one in one of the Psalms. Let me see if I can get it real quick. Let me use this other one because I got some things queued up. So is it far fetched? Absolutely not. So, and then one thing we got to realize, when you are a part of this world, your design or you are being misled to not to observe your surroundings, not to observe the things that are around you. I give I only can speak for myself. So I grew up Brooklyn, New York, and there was a slogan out here in New York. What is the slogan? It was actually a commercial. No trees grow in Brooklyn, right? Why? Because Esau chopped down majority of the trees, which until research, if you chop down most of the trees, then it intensified the hoods. In other words, when you go to a ghetto area and there's no trees, like to cool you off, a lot of homicides, murders take place. So when I saw that study, I was like, that kind of makes sense. But I found out later. So growing up in a particular area, all you know is what you see with your eyes. You don't observe the the, the birds when they chirping and the pigeons and you look at everything with disdain. You don't have time to really relax your mind. You need, but because why? You always in a paper chase. I only can speak for the big city. Your mind is always like hastening, so you can never really enjoy anything around you. Comparing to people in the South or in the islands, they get to that's all their environment is. So we are consistently deprived of the glory of the Lord. This is why we are not informed of things. So when we see things of this nature, then we become what? We come at awe, like, wow, this I never knew that. But this is something that our foreparents been knew. We've been completely disconnected because of Esau and his way of doing things. So instead of complimenting our surroundings by taking care of our surroundings, we are growing accustomed of the rulers. Matter of fact, I kept because it's true. Ecclesiastes or Sirach 10 and 2. Now we always use this when it's talking about the vile things of the leadership, which is they are. I'm going to use this, same thing. It says, as for the judge of the people is himself. So if you have people that's in rulership and they don't give two shits about their environment, why would the people under them do that? Now you could go to the suburbs and it looks different because people pick up the dog shit and this, that. No. All that shit is that word I'm looking for. It's all um it's all a show. All right. They don't give two shits about their living as well. So if you have people out there damaging their environment, when I mean damage, I mean picking up dog poop or all this, that's nothing. But total damaging, polluting, everything like that, the people is gonna do the exact same thing. People are influenced by their leaders. So are their officers, and what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. So when you have people that's ruling and they all they concerned about is money, all they concerned about is they don't care about their environment, they don't care about the creatures that they hurt, they don't care about the people that they destroy. The people follow the same trend. That's why I said the statement that I made. So which makes us really ill afford to the elements. When the Lord created the earth, what did he say? Matter of fact, let me get that real quick. Which one shall I use? I'll come back. I know exactly what this is. Genesis the 6, no, 9. No, I'm sorry. Genesis, the first chapter. 1 and to the point, I think it's 22 or to 21. 21. And the Elohim created great whales and every living creature that moved, which was also man, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind, which is what? The male carried the sperm in order to duplicate. That's why the Lord said, be fruitful and multiply, right? Even in this, well, obviously in the scriptures, it's science. It's self-preservation. So our natural way of self-preservation is what? We don't keep our bodies, but we keep our lineage. There's a great cry in the world today of lack of children. That's because of rulers, because that's you follow what the rulers do. All right. The rulers want people to have less children. People believe the things that are being told and they're not having children. They put a price to it where it's free. That's one of the free things you get with the opposite. You do your thing, you have chemistry, and a child is born. There's nothing, there's no money involved. All that is extra synthetics, or if I'm not synthetics. There's a caveat. It's something that just to cover up shit. It says And the Elohim saw that it was good. The Elohim means the powers, the gods, the angels, Yahushua and the angels. And the Elohims blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful and multiply, fill the waters, fill the waters and the seas, and let fowl multiply in the earth." Okay, we'll just jump down. This is the fifth day. And the Elohim said, "Let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle, creeping thing, beasts of the earth after his kind." It was so. And the Elohim made the beasts of the earth after his kind, and the cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And the Elohim saw it was good. And Elohim said, "Let us make man in our image." So this is all under the image, meaning what? Laws, statutes, commandments. Man was already created. They had the intelligence after our likeness, and let them have dominion. This is the key: dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, over the cattle, over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So Elohim created man in his own image. In the image of the Elohim created he, male and female created he them. So the the rulership, all right, the lordship is given to who? Man. Man on earth have the rulership over the beast elements, so to speak, right? Not the elements, like it, but the beasts. This is why um, beasts have a way of studying man, because they know what man is supposed to be over them. All right, and then what Esau does, Esau destroys that relationship. So what we're learning is everything has a spirit to it. Everything. Real quick, Psalms 104. Why I wanted Psalms 50? Oh, I wanted Psalms 50 because of something that the Lord said. I ain't gonna make this too long. Psalms 50. All right, I can start at 3. Our power shall come and shall not be silenced, and the fire shall devour before him, and it shall be for a temperance round about him. Talking about the judgment that the Lord is coming to bring. He shall call the heavens from above. So the heavens from above is whom? The angels. Right? And to the earth, that he may judge his people. When you go back into when the laws and statutes was given unto Israel, who were the witnesses? The heavens and the earth. So did the other nations see? No. It's literally talking about the spirits that's on the earth. They acknowledge, they saw it. All right. It says, "Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice." There you go. "And the heaven shall declare his righteousness, for the Most High judgeth himself a lie. Hear, O my people, and I will speak, O Israel. I will testify against thee. I am thy power, even thy power. Reprove, I will not reprove thee for thy sacrifice or thy burnt offering to have been continually before me. I will take no bullock out of thy house, nor the goats out of thy folds. For every beast of the forest is mine, and every cattle upon the thousand hills is and I'm sorry, and the cattle upon thousand hills. So Lord said, look, He did not need the burnt sacrifice. He didn't need none of that. He wanted us to obey because everything on earth is His. Everything. All right. Keep that in mind. We always got to understand. It says, I know all the fowls of the mountains and the wild beasts of the field are mine. If I were hungry, I would not tell thee, for the world is mine and the fulfillment thereof. So I just wanted to bring that out. There was something, yeah, Psalms 104. I start at 3 and jump in Job. Matter of fact, I start at 1. Bless Yahweh, O my soul. Bless my power. Oh Yahweh, my power. Thou art very great. Thou art clothed with the honor and majesty. Who covereth thyself with the light as if a garment, as with a garment, who stretch out the heavens like a curtain, who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariot, who walketh upon the wings of the wind. So the chariots, what they call UFOs, is the Lord's vehicles. All right. And what do? They cut through all the elements. You ever seen a chariot? The chariot in the skies is like is and sometimes it could be like it's in the sea. The way they move so unorthodox. All they doing is being one with the elements. All right. Who make of his angels spirits, his ministers a flame of fire. So the angels are spirits. All right. Everything has a spirit on it. Everything. Who layeth the foundation of the earth that should not be removed forever. That has covered it with the depth to the deep as with a garment. The water stood above the mountains. At thy rebuke they fled at the voice of the thunder that has hastened it away. I go up by the mountains, I go down by the valleys unto the place which thou hast founded for them. So what do you call what do you say? So the water evaporates, goes back to the element from H2O right back to oxygen, which goes into the clouds, and the cycle goes on and on. So that's the sign of intelligence to know when the right time to go up, being guided. You ever seen a tornado? You see how a tornado how it's created from the cold wind and the warm wind together, it causes a violent wind. That's the Lord. That's the elements coming together. It says that has set a bound that they may not pass over, that they turn not again to cover the earth, which was going back to what? To the flood. That's why they find in the highest mountains residue of snow or residue of water. Like the water, not water from the heavens, water that was already on the earth in the mountains. I forgot what they call it, but it's showing that there was a flood. All right. He sendeth the springs into the valleys which run among the hills. They have drink they give drink to every beast of the field. The wild ass quench their thirst. By them shall the fowls of the heaven have their habitation, which sing among the branches, which is what a different you have the solid, which is water, all right, when we drink, and you have the other firmament, which is the air, which you know what I'm saying? So when you break down the science, like the Lord, which everybody knows the science by now, that's the Lord's doing. He watereth the hills from his chamber. The earth is satisfied with the fruit of thy works. And why would the earth be satisfied? Satisfaction is what? A form of pleasantry. Matter of fact, let me see what it says. Why would the earth be satisfied if the earth itself is not living? The way this science, um, the way they do their science, it says satisfied. The Hebrew word is shabya. Oh, it says to be satisfied, be seated. That's why that's why we know. Shab means seat, sit. Be fulfilled. Mm. To be surfeited. It says to be salted. Oh, I mean salted with food. To be salted, be satisfied, be fulfilled. So the earth is fulfilled. Fulfillment is a form of what? When somebody eats something, you fulfilled. You you eat the stuff, you're filled up, right? So the earth itself needs to be fulfilled. It says to here it is, to enrich, to sat gut with the undesired, satisfied, filled, plenty, enough, saturate, sufficient, unsettable, worry. So this is signs of what? Intelligence, signs of need, signs of um, satisfaction. Okay, it says he caused the grass to grow for the cattle and the herb for the servants of man, that he may bring forth food out of the earth, and the wine that maketh glad the heart of man, and the oil to make his face to shine, and bread which strengtheneth man's heart. Now, I've been doing a little bit project of late. Do you know that yeast is wild? Yeast is found in the air. Well, that's why we get the term sourdough. That's wild yeast. You add to two elements, which is water and flour, and you keep feeding it. There's a reason why it's fed is a living organism. So everything around us is what we eat is living. We eat life. Everything has life to it. This is how a plant needs water to substance. Plants live. They have spirits. They have souls. All right. It says, what's the other one I was looking for? Because they're gonna go on and on. There it is, 21. I mean, this whole chapter is bad. I just want to hit some key points. It says the young lions roar after their prey, seek their meat from the Most High. So everything on the earth relies on the orders of the Lord. All right, they acknowledge the Most High. That's why I wanted to focus on that part, which leads me to here. Job 38, and I know I'm missed with the one I'm missing, but it's okay. Hold on. The Lord is challenging Job. All right, I started 19. Where is that way where the light dwelleth? As for darkness, where is the place thereof? Oh, even the sun is a spirit of his own. The moon is a spirit of his own. When Joshua, they said the longest day in history, when Joshua stopped the sun, right, from its course. So if he stopped the sun from its course, that means the sun was moving, right? It says, "Thou shouldest take it in the bound thereof, and thou shouldest know the path of the house thereof. Knowest thou it because thou was born, or because the number of thy days is great? has that into the treasures of the snow, or even snow has intelligence too. Each snowflake is different, and they show you that in science. Snow is just nothing but another spirit of water. Can't make this up, man. Right? Because it was the lady was explaining like she froze it, and the imprint that it was left. The great Bruce Lee said, "You say you look at water. Water's not water. Water becomes one with the element, with whatever is in. So that's a form of intelligence. All right. Everything around us has life. Says which I reserve against the time of trouble because of the day of the battle. Now, son, going in there. It says by what way is the light parted, was scattered the east wind upon the earth? Who have divided the here it is. Who have divided a water course for overflowing of waters, or a way for lightning of thunder? The Lord, to cause it to rain on the earth where no man is, or the wilderness wherein there is no man. So it rains different parts of the earth where no man dwells at, right? The Lord is responsible for all that, to satisfy the desolate and waste ground, and to cause the bud of the tender herb to spring forth. Have the rain a father, or have begotten the drop of dew, of whose womb come the ice, and the hoary frost of heaven, who have gendereth it? Man, lost spitting bars. Like, do they come together and create? It's the Lord that's responsible for everything. The waters are hid as a stone. The face of the deep is frozen, which is spiritual because that was um that was this right here. All right.
Yes, I showed.
That was this. You see how that worked? Hey man, this you get to appreciate life more when you know the truth. You know who's responsible. Okay? This is the working of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. That's why the name of the Lord is what? Yahweh, which means what? He is. He is everything. Okay? Even like I said, Bruce Lee, right? Like, oh, a perfect example. Prayer. If you pray over something, what do? You change in the element. That's a form of spiritual power. You pray over your food, you you put in blessing, you change the dynamics of the food that you eat. That's why the Lord said what? Anything that you should eat I said, no, you should drink poison and live, right? Because you're supposed to pray over it. You're supposed to pray. You're not going to straight to drink a bleach or anything like that. But we're eating food that has alternative motives to it. Okay, things that can harm you. That's in there. But if you pray over your food instead of destroying you, it can aid you because you pray over it. Because there's a form of spiritual powers that we have. Prayer. What's the other one? Let me end it off from here. Job 5, and I start at 17. Happy is the man whom the Most High correcteth. Therefore, despise not that thou the chastisement of the Almighty, which the Lord is doing. Why He's building us up. All right. We learn to appreciate our surroundings more by serving Yahweh by Shemiel Shai. Everything has His spirit in him. Okay. Now, what we fighting against demons, intelligence, because we're open to the elements. But when we get that our true bodies, the elements is gonna work in our favor because we're gonna work in harmony with everything. Oh, actually, I did have one more. Matter of fact, you know what? I'll just quote it. Tell you about Isaiah 24:4. It said that the earth fadeth away, the earth, because of the inhabitants thereof, because the powers that be are, are making the people weaker when the people are supposed to be what? One with nature. All right? They call that what? Being a savage. But in reality, that's acknowledging your surroundings, that's being acknowledging the spirit that's around you, not giving credence and worshiping them. No, you walk in unity, saying this is an element that the Lord created. And it says, for he maketh sore and bindeth up. He wound and his hand make whole. He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yea, 7 shall no evil touch thee. In famine he shall redeem thee from death, in the war from the power of the sword. That shall be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shall they be afraid of the destruction when it cometh. At destruction and famine, thou shalt laugh. So this is what's going to happen in the near future. This is the judgment that the Lord proclaimed. All right. Neither shall they be afraid of the beasts of the earth. Why would we not be afraid of the beasts of the earth? We're going to be one with the beasts. They're going to acknowledge it. This is the way, same way they feared Noah. All right. Noah, the beast feared Noah. We're going to get that back. All right. For some bros, you'll notice certain beasts will not only acknowledge you, they want to be in your presence. Okay. Which is a good thing. But here's the point. Thou shalt be in league with the stones of the field, and the beasts of the field shall be at peace with thee. So we're going to be at peace with the elements. We're going to be at peace with everything that lives. Because guess what? The beasts of the field, they're part of the earth. Okay? And thou shalt know that thy tabernacle shall be in peace, and thou shalt visit thine habitation, and shall not sin, where sin means a transgression of the law. All right. So that being said, shalom to the elect of the nations. Shalom.